Let's head on to the next section. So, in this section, we are going to talk about interstate disparities. Like I've earlier mentioned, every state in India is not poor. One state might be in the category of poverty, one state might be a developed state, and we will be discussing this with the help of a graph. Then we will come across global poverty scenario as to what is the level of poverty in the different countries in the world and the main causes of poverty. What are the factors which bring about poverty, right? So we are going to be discussing all about these in this section. Let's head on to interstate disparities. So the disparities is because the proportion of poor people is not the same in every state. And also, even if there's a proportion of poor people in that particular state, each state has devised different schemes in order to remove them out of poverty, and hence there is a kind of disparity. So states like Madhya Pradesh, Assam, Uttar Pradesh, Bihar and Orissa all had they were all above the all India poverty level, which we will be discussing through a graph. So from the graph that we are going to be seeing in the next slide, we will be concluding that Bihar and Orissa continue to be the two most poor states in our country. And these are the numbers 33.7 and 32.6 respectively. So this is the graph, right? Like I mentioned earlier, Bihar and Orissa are the two most poor countries, right? And Kerala is the least poor, not country, sorry. Let me rephrase it again for you. Bihar and Orissa are the two most poor states, closely followed by Assam, again closely followed by Madhya Pradesh, and then Uttar Pradesh, Karnataka, and etc. as you can see in the graph here. Then you have the least poor state, that is Kerala. Let me give you a brief story about Kerala. Kerala is known as the highest literate state, which means in India, which means majority, that is 95%, greater than 95% of the people in India, in Kerala, have reached literate levels that is greater than 95%. That is, every 95, suppose there is a group of 100 people, more than 95 people have received some kind of education or the other, right? So now you can see the kind of impact that literacy level has played on poverty levels in Kerala. So you can see how there's a interplay between literacy, that is education, and poverty levels. And you can also see the all India poverty ratio is at almost 22% in India. So let us see the kind of conclusions you can make from this graph. Like I've told you, Orissa, Madhya Pradesh, Bihar and Uttar Pradesh are among the top states for poverty. And there is a decline in poverty in states such as Kerala, Maharashtra, Andhra Pradesh, Tamil Nadu, Gujarat and West Bengal. You should understand how these some states have reduced poverty. What kind of, like I've told you earlier, they have devised some schemes or they've made use of natural resources that are there in that particular state in order to remove people from poverty. So let us see how some states have done this. States like Punjab and Haryana have naturally they have high agricultural growth. You should understand these two states were first introduced by Green Revolution. Hence, wheat and rice are high producing in these states, which also means many of the people are employed in agriculture. Greater employment means greater income, and when you have greater income, naturally you're out of poverty. Like I'm going to repeat again the case scenario of Kerala here. Kerala has invested in human capital, in human resource, and good educated people have come out in this process is an output. It's a very positive output, and these educated people are getting high paid salaries, and ultimately they are helping out their families for a basic living, and they are out of the poverty scenario. Then you have West Bengal. So what exactly West Bengal has done? They have done land reform measures. So what exactly land reform measures? Suppose I am a farmer who has around 30 acres of land, and there are multiple small farmers that have either no land, majority of them have no land, or have very less amount of land. I can tell these, either I can employ these small farmers in my piece of land, or I can lease out this kind of land to each farm. I can give each farmer two, I can afford to do that, and I can tell them, please get me a part of the harvest. Please get me a little rice or wheat of whatever grows in that particular land. Please come and get it to me. So this way the farmers are happy. Also, I am able to lead a basic living. So this is how poverty is reduced. Then you have states like Andhra Pradesh and Tamil Nadu. So what exactly have they done? They have devised this policy such as public distribution system. So what exactly is public distribution system? So these governments go directly to the farmers and they collect the surplus amount of grains that are produced. They take that surplus and they go give it to the poor people through fair price shops. So these we are going to discuss in the future classes. So through this, every poor person has food to eat. So now let us see the global poverty scenario. Like I've seen, now we can see the global poverty scenario because World Bank has given a definition as to what exactly is the poverty line. And in the global area, poverty has fallen from around 36% in 1990 to around 10% in 2015. But like India, there are large disparities between different countries. Poverty declined substantially, meaning in a large amount in China and South Asian countries. How? How has this reduction come about? Because of rapid economic growth and massive investments in human resource development. So what these countries like China, Singapore, Malaysia, Thailand, etc. So what exactly these countries have done is they have invested in education. They've invested on people. So people automatically, they become highly skilled, get very good jobs and enter the economic production processes in the country. So you must be very aware of how intelligent the Chinese people are, right? So ultimately they lead to rapid economic growth and naturally removal of poverty in those countries. So look at the numbers of China. Just read out the numbers of China. How a sudden decrease has happened in case of poverty. So let us see in the countries of South Asia. So what are the different countries that make up South Asia? You have India, you have Pakistan, you have Sri Lanka, you have Nepal, Bangladesh, Bhutan. So these are the immediate neighbors of India, right? So the decline in these countries also is very rapid. That is from 34% in 2005 to around half of it, almost half of it, that is 15% in 2014. So what has happened in sub-Saharan Africa? So poverty has declined from 51% in 2005 to around 40% in 2018. This is not a massive amount of decline when you compare it to countries of South Asia and those countries of China and Southeast Asia. In Latin America, what is Latin America? It is South America. So the ratio of poverty has declined from 10% to 4%, which is very nil. So in South America, poverty rates are not very high. So we have something called Sustainable Development Goals that are put up by the United Nations. So they are a set of 17 goals, and one of the main goal is removing poverty of all types that are existing in all the different countries by the year 2030. So there is a goal that by 2030 the kind of poverty existing in most countries has to be wiped out. This table is providing you a kind of head count ratio comparison among some selected countries. So there are selected countries of 8 countries that are given in the table, as you can see. So it shows you the proportion of people, that is the percentage of people who live below $1.90 per day as defined by the World Bank. So these are the ones who live in extreme poverty. So in Nigeria, the highest percentage of people are there. You have Indian scenario also, and that is not a good number.